Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the regular council meeting of Monday, September 19th at 4:30 p.m. And I would just like to call this meeting to order, and I've got a couple announcements to make. And the first one is you will notice that there will be some half-masting of the flags going on September 25th, and it's the Police and Peace Officers National Memorial Day. As well, on September 30th, it's the National Day of Truth and Reconciliation. So we will be lowering the flags those days. I also want to let everybody know on September 27th at 1 p.m. in the Newcastle community, we will have a flood program groundbreaking ceremony for those who would like to attend. I don't have the exact location, but just really towards the beginning of the entrance into the ball diamonds, we'll meet and then we'll go from there. As well, I would just like to say congratulations. This weekend, I was able to attend a 50-year Dchs Provincial Champions, and it was incredible to see all these people who played volleyball at the high school at that time called DCHS. And 50 years later, everybody was in attendance except two gentlemen that had passed away, and it was just quite an honor to see so many people come back to the valley, and congratulations to them. And then, of course, we had this incredible tree carving event this weekend. First off, I'd like to thank Tony, Wayne, and Harv for their dream and their inspiration to get this started, and a way to repurpose and honor the trees. And if you just stop by the plaza and look at the incredible piece of artwork that Marina Cole created, it's just outstanding. And our thoughts were originally in the new plaza, but maybe it will go into the BCF. So we're just going to try and figure out the location as to where to put it. But thank you to Marina, Elliot, all the work that they did to get that incredible piece of art. We asked for a bench and we got way more than what we had ever imagined. So thank you to everybody who volunteered and helped us. We had the Humane Society, the library, the Pioneer Trail Center. There was a car boots. We had Sam's Kitchen out. There's just a lot of activity. The farmers market was going on, so it really created a great event downtown. So thank you to everybody who volunteered and helped us out. All right, is there any additions to the agenda? Nope. Okay, so I get a motion to adopt the agenda of September 19th, please. Patrick?
I motion that council adopt the agenda for the September 19th, 2022 regular council meeting as presented.
Seconder, Stephanie, all in favor? Carried. And let's move on to, can I get a motion for the September 6th regular council meetings as presented, please? Crystal?
I move that council approve the minutes for the September 6, 2022 regular council meeting as presented.
Seconder, Patrick, comments? All in favor? Carried. And we now will move on to 6.1.1, please, Daryl.
Thank you, Your Worship. So this request for decision in front of you is a request for a leave of absence for an additional 8 weeks for Councillor Lisa Hansen Zacharach. As many of you know, Councillor Hansen Zacharach has been battling cancer for quite some time, and while she is getting better, and she is actually hoping to be able to attend a couple of events in the next little while, we'd like to make a request to extend her leave of absence for another 8-week period. So.
Can I get a motion, please? Stephanie?
Be it resolved that council permit a leave of absence for Councillor Hansen Zacharach due to medical issues as per Municipal Government Act Section 174(2) with pay for an 8-week period.
Seconder, Patrick, comments? I would just like to say, although Lisa has not been at council chambers, she still is very, very active in the community, trying to help everyone where she can. And I want to thank her for that, because she's going through a lot, but her heart is always in the right place. So thank you, Lisa, for everything you do. All right, all in favor? Carried. 6.1.2, please, Daryl.
Thank you. So this is appointments of 2 members to the CN Trail Fundraising Task Force. So the task force is to fundraise specifically for items that will complement the CN Trail system. And There are currently 3 members of council that sit on it, and this is now members of the public that we're looking for. So there were 2 applications that were received so far, and this was prior to the publication deadline. So Jason Blank and Madison Kohlberg have submitted applications for appointment to this task force. And the recommendation from administration is that council appoint these 2 members to the CN Trail Fundraising Task Force.
Can I get a motion, please, Patrick?
I move the council approve the appointment of Jason Blank and Madison Kohlberg as members at large to the CN Trail Fundraising Task Force for a term ending February 28th, 2023.
Seconder Crystal, comments? Crystal?
If we do get any more applicants, can they still be part of the task force?
Yes,
Okay.
Counselor. So the idea is that you can still have a meeting. So, a good example would be the library board routinely invites potential members to their meetings. And so I would suggest that if you're having a meeting in the next week or two, to be able to have any members come out, and then we can appoint them at a council meeting in October.
Stephanie?
It's really nice to see all their experience on different boards and committees and all the dedication they have to their community.
All right, yes, so I just want to reinforce, I probably ran into 3 or 4 people who want to be involved. So what we will do is have a meeting on September 28th at 4:30 at the BCF upstairs at the tables on the top level. And so I know, like, we will have an email sent out. Denise will send one out because we do have some email addresses of people that are interested. So we'll get those out. And anybody else, please find Patrick, Crystal, or myself. Again, we want to just have our first meeting September 28th, 4:30 at the BCF. All right, all in favor? Carried. Okay, let's move on to 6.2.1, please, Dagan.
So today I have a request for decision from council for a resolution for expropriation. So this relates to 2 properties that are privately held, where the flood office needs a portion of each of the 2 lots. And we have been speaking with the landowners over the past several months regarding purchase of the properties within what we are allowed with the provincial and federal grant funding program. But at this point, the landowners have rejected our offers for purchase. And so we do need to take the next step because we would like to move forward with construction in fall and spring of this year. And so we are looking to move to expropriation for these 2 portions of the parcels. So under the flood program, we can pay or we can complete the acquisitions based on the current year assessed value on the dollar per square foot basis for this space. I will note that the amount of land required has been reduced significantly with the reduction in the berm top width from 6 meters to 4 meters. And the number of impacted landowners in this community has been reduced from 3 to 2. And so we would like to request that council approve the resolution for expropriation, noting that it can take some time to have the request for the expropriation or the notice of intent to expropriate registered with land titles. So land titles currently is behind by about 3 months. So it might take some time to start the process based on that. But the funds for purchase of the land should be eligible on a 100% basis under the Alberta government grant funding. And as well, the funds for damages awarded to the individuals owning the property may also be considered on a case-by-case basis by the Alberta government. And so they'll review the damages for the awards on a case-by-case basis and decide whether or not the grant funding can be used to support that as well. And so again, this is land that is needed to complete the work on the Newcastle berm. And in terms of communication, the notice of the intent to expropriate will be provided to the landowners as soon as possible through their legal representatives. And I do have a couple of images showing the property extents that we need. So I'll just share that. So this is the first property where the land is needed. So it's the area shown in purple here, where the berm touches the footprint on this lot. And then the second property, it's this portion here, so 39 square meters on this parcel. And I will note in the resolution which was published online, there was a typo on one of the plan numbers. So the plan number should be 2773 GT. So we'll get that corrected prior to signing off on the resolution.
All right, Dagan, can I get a motion, please, council? Patrick?
I move that the resolution approving the expropriation of the portions of properties noted on the attachment as short legal 27736 GT semicolon 7 semicolon 3 and 2773 GT semicolon 7 semicolon 4 be approved as presented.
I'm just gonna get you to read that first number again. I think you added a 6 in there.
Pardon me. Short legal 2773 GT semicolon 7 semicolon 3.
Thank you. Seconder, please. Crystal, comments? Patrick?
Can we just clarify that we can continue with the construction, even though this process will take some time?
So right now, the portion of construction behind these, the 4 residents in a row in Newcastle is currently on hold until we have some agreement in place or the expropriation is completed. So the contractor in this case did plan to come back and do some work in the spring. So we're hoping that we can get things resolved by then and complete that work, if not earlier.
Anybody else? Okay, so just to clarify then, we're not touching their homes or anything else. These are just along the edge of their land. And we have done everything we can to try and resolve this without going to this extent.
Yeah, that's right. It's not our preference to have to go to this step, and we did look at a number of alternates, including putting a small retaining wall and making adjustments to the side slopes. But just based on the geotechnical design of the berm, we were not able to reduce it any further than what we have here today.
So, but we did do really good by reducing it from 6 to 4.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, any other comments? All in favor? Carried. All right, let's move on to 6.3.1, please. Dave.
Thank you, Your Honor. The RFD before you sign is regarding the Bridge 11 replacement project. This is in regards to Highway 10X Bridge 11. We sent a tender out earlier, partway through the summer. We had it close at the end of August. The grant money plus the town and Wheatland contribution comes to 3.2 million. That includes engineering and construction. As you can see from this, the bids came in significantly higher than that. As such, the town administration and are supported by our consultant are recommending not to award and go back and do some redesign work to try and lower the price. In addition, we will be speaking to Wheatland and the province about getting additional funding to cover the necessary work on this bridge.
Motion, please, council. Crystal?
I move that the request for tender for the Bridge 11 replacement tenders received on September 1st, 2022 be rejected as all tenders exceed the projected project budget.
Seconder. Patrick, comments? Crystal?
I do really appreciate Wheatland County being able to see how this benefits their residents, as this bridge is a main direct access to the town of Drumheller from up on top of the valley. So I really hope they can hopefully bring in a little bit more money to help with this project. So thanks for having that relationship with the counties in our area.
Patrick?
I'm not sure if we have a set agenda this week with our meetings with Alberta Transportation, but would it be worthwhile to bring this project up as well?
Yes, it's on our list.
Anybody else? Dave, is this a single lane bridge?
It is a single lane bridge. I've already been in discussions with MP, our design consultant. Eric Dyson from MP is on here as well for additional answers if I don't have them. We've identified that we could do about $2 million worth of savings by not coating the bridge at all and using a different style steel that'll just naturally rust and then stay that way. We could also reduce that 2 million could also be achieved by removing the pedestrian bridge, the pedestrian walkway that's attached to it, which now that we have the CN rail next door is a legitimate method of assistance there. In addition, by changing the architectural control of matching the existing bridges in the area and going to a much more modern looking bridge, it would use less steel and result in a lower price. It was the steel prices that really jacked up the costs on us. So those three things can bring us down about $2 million, but that still puts us significantly over budget, just not as significantly. So we're going to need to ask for additional funding. There's potentially some other stuff we can do in the redesign, but the main thing, those would be the main items. So we've already been having these conversations, but it still is not getting us anywhere near where we need to be. And it's significant enough redesign that we would have to retender the project anyhow.
Okay, so a single lane bridge and our lowest bid come in at 6.9 million?
That is correct.
Okay, well, all in favor for the motion of not honoring this? Carried. Okay, so then we need the second motion on the floor, please, council. Stephanie?
I move that that the project team undertake design revisions to reduce costs and retender in early 2023.
Seconder, please. Patrick, comments? Okay, so I guess my comment would be then, yeah, all the ideas you have, but I think you need to go for more because the way everything is tightening up and it's hard to get funding as it is, it'd be nice if we could figure out how to do it with the 5.2, I believe that, or 3.2 that we had.
I will be in discussions with Eric and MP in order to find as many ways that we can do to trim the design down to minimize the costs. However, inflation, supply chain, and competing for projects, we may very well still need some more money, but we'll do everything we can to bring the value down as much as possible.
All right, Eric, you got your work cut out for you. Okay, all in favor? Carried. Thank you, Dave. All right, let's move on to 6.4.1, please, Mauricio.
Thank you, Your Worship. This is a briefing note that we are going to be presenting to Council regarding the Parks and Recreation Master Plan that was approved in the 2022 capital budget. And we have Darren, our Manager of Recreation, Arts and Culture, here to present a briefing. Darren?
Good afternoon, Council. Yes, thanks, Mauricio. Before you is a briefing note on the Parks and Recreation Master Plan. As everyone's aware, Council and Administration over the last little bit has identified that this is a very high strategic priority for the town. The plan is going to identify the needs and wants of the community with the hopes to address development of parks and recreation over the next 20 years for the Drumheller Valley. It's also going to assess the current status of parks and recreation and then provide a plan for the future that will meet the values and needs of this community. So back in June, the request for proposal was put out, closing on July 12th, and 4 proposals were received. The proposals range from $70,494 to $149,000. Administration evaluated the proposals based on the criteria and the request for proposal. And on August 9th, our CAO approved the master plan being awarded to RC Strategies out of Sherwood Park in the amount of $70,494. The initial stage, we did a kickoff meeting on August 26th with RC Strategies. The initial stage that we're in right now is that we're providing reports, documents, facility and park inventories, as well as current state and usage data, financial information, and development of the engagement plan. Early efforts are also being made by RC Strategies to provide cost recovery report for the Aquaplex, Memorial Arena, and the Badlands Community Facility. The intent of this is so that it may be considered during the 2023-2025 operational budget discussions. The engagement plan that they are currently drafting will reflect the International Association of Public Participation, so the IAP2, and it'll be a balanced approach with diversity of tactics in gaining the information that's needed to understand the perspectives of everybody in the valley. RC Strategies is looking to come to council to be able to present their engagement plan later in October here, mid to late October. One thing to note with this plan is that the original timeline that was in the RFP was quite aggressive by having December 1st as the deadline for that project. Based on similar plans that have been done in other municipalities and recommendations by those municipalities as well as the consultant, we are extending that timeline out, and it's looking to be completed in spring of 2023. Take any questions?
Comments, council? Go ahead, Patrick.
I just note on here with the communications that it says proponents will be notified of the decision by email. Is there a point of contact for people that may not be completely aware of this plan at this point, but would, want to have input?
So that statement that's in there is referring to the proposals that were submitted already, the four proposals. So letting the three proponents that were not successful, how we would communicate back to them of the decision.
But will we have a point of contact for people to start soliciting feedback?
You bet. So as the engagement plan gets developed and RC Strategies comes and presents that plan to council, the rollout of that will be explained as to the different tactics that they're going to use to obtain information from the general public, but also stakeholders and different target groups in our community and that. And then there will also be public consultation through open houses and that too. So we're hoping and striving for lots of opportunity for the public to be able to give input to this plan.
Crystal?
I know even though these users aren't residents or taxpayers in our community, but there's lots of user groups that come to our community to use our facilities. How are we going, is that going to be an important part of stakeholder engagement for users that are renting our facilities or coming here?
So the groups that are renting facilities, such as sport user groups and that, they are our local users, so they will definitely be a stakeholder group. If you're referencing external travel teams,
Yes.
etc., they will, if there's feedback that they want to provide, there is a public open opportunity to be able to do that, or they can actually provide feedback to the organization or the sport that they participate in.
No, that's great. Thank you.
Stephanie?
Thanks for bringing this to us. I was just wanting to double check and make sure that the labor percentages, just the cost of labor going out versus what we're bringing in, is going to be still included in this.
That is correct. That's through the cost recovery report that we've asked them to be able to provide as part of the budget consultation process for the upcoming year.
Awesome. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Darren. So I just want to confirm, so the final survey will come to us with all the documents you gather in spring of 23. However, when will it come to us as council so then we can, because we keep getting asked from the public when we get our input. So just, do you have a rough idea when it's coming to us so then we can tell people once it comes to us, it goes out?
So the engagement plan will come back to council here towards the mid to late October for to be able to see how they're going to engage the public.
Okay,
The public engagement process will start towards the end of October, running through the late fall, maybe trickle into the early winter here.
okay,
And then from there, they'll start developing the plan and providing reports, and there will be a draft report that comes back. The public will also have an opportunity to see through additional open houses the information and the data that they've been gathering through all of their methods.
great. So that will include like the ball, softball, fastball, hardball,
Yes, we're,
pickleball.
we're putting together a list of all of our organizations and
Excellent.
user groups right now, through a bit of a brainstorming. And if people want to make sure that they get captured into those groups and those stakeholder meetings and that, they can reach out to us through the recreation at BCF.
Okay, perfect. All right, any other questions, council? Okay, well, thanks so much for that, Darren and Mauricio. Look forward to that getting started. And I just want to add that it's nice to see that you guys were able to choose an Alberta company. So it's nice to keep it local. Okay, well, that is the end of this agenda. We do have to go into closed sessions. So can I get a motion, please, council? Crystal?
I move that council close the meeting to the public for discussions related to personal recreation land transitions and budget proposals as per FOIP 16, disclosure harmful to business interests of a third party, FOIP 23, local public body confidences, and FOIP 24, advice from officials.
Seconder, please. Patrick, all in favor? Carried. So thank you, everyone. We will be back on October 3rd. And again, please, please take the moment to go check out the plaza. That is just one incredible piece of artwork. And we're all thinking of the royal family and everything they're going through today. So please send your prayers for the Queen and God bless the King. So thank you and have a great week and take care.